Hey guys, in this video, I want to talk to you about the rotation in the golf swing, specifically the hips, to create power. And if you've lost power as you've gotten older, that's something that a lot of people really struggle with. And if you don't know how to turn in the backswing, you're not going to be able to get the power that you can actually create. So what happens in the backswing is people will come back, their right hip gets a lot higher than their left hip if you're a right-handed golfer. That's going to cause you to invert and lean back toward the target, and you're not going to be able to turn through the way you want to. So we're going to fix that today, and it's going to help early extension. It's going to activate the big muscles so we can create power as we turn into the ball. But first, let's take a look at what happens when that goes on in the golf swing. So like I said, when people come back, they can get a good rotation. The right hip gets higher than their left because the right leg's straightening out, and then their hips end up coming up and in away from where they were at setup. As you turn back, we really want to turn your shoulders, and your hips turn as a reaction to what your shoulders are doing. When that happens, you're loading up this right hip and getting into a position where you can turn back through. And I'm going to give you a drill to get that power, stay in your good spine angle, and rotate back into the ball. So if you wonder if this is something you're guilty of, this is an easy way to look at it and get a feel for, okay, am I turning my hips level? Am I getting into my right hip as I turn back? I just took an alignment stick, put it between my belt loops here. And what you don't want to see is your trail hip getting way higher than your lead hip. You don't want to see this dip or this raise here. What we want to do is your shoulders turn, and when your hips rotate, they stay more level. The right hip is going to get a little bit higher than your left, but we don't want it to dip way down in the shaft or the alignment stick pointing way down at the ground. We want to turn the shoulders. Your hips turn, again, as a reaction to what your upper body's doing, and you want this to turn level and not tilt like this. And you'll probably notice when you're doing that drill and you're turning more level like this, you can start to feel a stretch through your right butt cheek. And that's getting loaded into where we want to be. Your weight should be staying on the instep of your trail foot so you're able to push back through, and you're creating that resistance, which is going to lead to getting more power getting into the ball. Now I'm going to give you an exercise you can do to really magnify that feel, and it's going to help you create more power. It's going to let you use the ground reaction forces, and you're going to see before long you're picking up a lot of distance. Now I'm going to show you a kettlebell exercise called the kettlebell swing that mimics the move you're trying to get in the backswing to help activate the hips so you can turn through, create the power the way we're supposed to. Now I would highly recommend reading this book called Enter the Kettlebell, and it will take you through the correct motion of swings. They're very dynamic. It'll help you create power, but if you do them the wrong way, it'll help you get hurt. So read that, get the form right. I'm not going to go into that now. That's something you can do on your own, but I'm going to show you how this translates into the golf swing. So when you grab the kettlebell, you pick it up, and it's a simple move. You're just going out, your hips go back, and then you fire up with your hips. And that's going to help you get it through. But let's look at it from the side, and this is how it works in the golf swing. So from the side, it's just a little swing. You go back, you can see how my hips go back, and then I fire up, and it's through like that. Instead of, in the golf swing, coming in and up, you sit back and in so you can turn back into the ball. And I'm going to give you one more way that you can work on this at home. What you want to do is set up about, get in your good posture, get your hips about 2 inches away from the wall. As you turn back, let your right hip get back to the wall. Then you start the downswing from the ground up, your hips start going, driving into the left heel, but as you turn through, you're pushing your left hip into the wall. So in the backswing, the right hip touches the wall. On the way through, start from the ground up, left hip touches the wall. And that's going to get you in a more powerful, repeatable position. So in the golf swing, what we want to do is activate the hip. So when it turns back, you turn back with your chest. Your hips turn as a reaction to what your upper body's doing, and then you sit in, you get this nice stretch through your right butt cheek, and that's going to help you get activated so you can move back into the ball. Instead of coming up and out and not activating that hip, which is going to create the power. So sit back and in, weight stays on the instep, and then fire through. And it's going to look like this. Let's look at what we're trying to avoid. As you can see on the backswing here, my hips come up and under my chest, which makes my head come up and out of the shot. Not only is that making it tougher to get back to the ball consistently, you're losing a ton of power. As opposed to the correct move, you can see my hip moves back into the red line and it stays on that line the whole way back and through. My spine angle stays consistent and I create more power moving into impact. Hope that educates your game. I'll talk to you soon.